Madam Chair, if you want to call the meeting to order.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I call to order the Delaware County Board of Elections meeting for November 22nd, 2022. Can we all please rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a little bit of, I don't know, Mr. Alberts, if you're having the same problem, but there's a little disconnect noise-wise.
Yeah, it's a little timing issue.
Sorry about that. It is my understanding, good morning, everybody, and I can't see the room, but thank you for your attendance. We're convening this morning to do the certification of the election, and yet it's my understanding that Judge Joser, not by his order, but by his request, has asked that we open the meeting, but then recess for a period of time that we should determine, but hopefully closer for him to the end of the day so that he can make some legal decisions in some court cases presented to him yesterday. Is that correct, Mr. Allen?
Yes, it is. Briefly, there were motions filed late Friday in the afternoon seeking to open the ballot boxes in 4 precincts. And there are several and varied legal questions surrounding that. For the record, Mr. McBlain is joining us right now. So we're going to, I'm going to recommend that we recess the meeting with the plan to reconvene at a time that's convenient for both Mr. McBlain and Mr. Alberts. But before we recess, I was hoping to do 2 things very quickly. One was to recognize the best election staff in the United States for easily the smoothest election that I have seen in my 16 years. Voter registration, the Bureau in Chester, the Bureau at the Wharf, the Bureau here in Media, and the voting machine warehouse, and all of our divisions faced enormous headwinds with game changes by the Supreme Court, with floods of voter registration paper forms for the first time since 2008. We haven't seen anything like that before. And everything about Election Day, the thorough testing of the ballots, everything about Election Day went so smoothly that we found ourselves in court yesterday being accused of having it go too smoothly, ironically. So I do, though, want to, there is one person here. She used to work for the Board of Elections, Mary Jo Headley. She may have an appointment later. I would like her, if she doesn't mind, speaking briefly about the return board, which completed its work in record time in 3 days last week. Mary Jo, would you mind stepping forward? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm just part of the return board. We actually finished the tabulation in a matter of 3 days. Everything went smooth. We had a lot of support from all the departments, and we were able to finish up with no problems. Forms were created, which were good, and made everything go much smoother.
Thank you.
Okay.
And may I just ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Madam Chair? Ms. Headley, in terms of the return board, I mean, is it the board's recommendation? Is it your recommendation that everything is in order and appropriate for certification of the election?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And for the record, Ms. Headley was one of the 2 leaders. We had 1 Republican leader and 1 Democratic leader. Ms. Headley was the Republican leader of that effort. So I appreciate her service as well as all the other individuals, the other 15 individuals who served in that capacity. So with that, I don't know if we can recommend a motion to recess this meeting with a time that is suitable to reconvene from Mr. McBlain.
Like you said, I don't know what the availability of board members is. My thought was to recommend 3 o'clock, to do it late enough in the day.
Right, I understood Judge Dozer thought Mr. Martin implied that might give Judge Dozer enough time to make his ruling. I did want to say, Ms. Headley, thank you so much for your service, and to everybody on our team. I had the pleasure of going down to swear in the return board, and there was questions of whether the bathrooms would work, and in perfect conditions, and yet such an important group of engaged citizens who wanted to make sure that our election oversight process went smoothly. It was really a source of pride, and obviously we thank Ms. Headley and all of those who served on the return board for carrying out those duties so carefully and diligently as the reports came back to me, and also efficiently in such a short period of time. So thank you very much. Mr. McBlain, Mr. Alberts, I do think that Mr. Martin indicated 3 p.m. might be sufficient, not guaranteed that it would be sufficient for him to complete his rulings in the case, and we are doing this at his request. But if 3 o'clock would work, we could reconvene at that time.
It would work for me. I could reconvene at 3 or anytime after.
Mr. McBlain?
That'd be fine with me, yes.
Why don't we plan on 3 o'clock then, if the board could please make a motion?
I would move to recess the meeting until 3 p.m. today.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, we stand in recess.